Hello friends. So let's understand what Python actually is. Python is an interpreted object-oriented high-level programming language with dynamic semantics. So there are mainly 4 points to focus here. 1. Interpreted, 2. Object-oriented, 3. High-level programming language, and 4. Dynamic semantics. So let's focus on the points one by one. First, let us understand what interpreted language actually is. Okay, so to understand what interpreted language actually is, let us first understand how our code is actually executed by the system. So what is a source code? Source code is the code that we developers write. Source code is generally written in high level languages like Python, Java, C++, etc. Now a source code cannot be understood by the CPU. So for an application to run, we need to convert the source code to binary code or machine code which the CPU can understand. Because CPU is the one that will execute our code. So this work of conversion from source code to binary code or machine code is done with the help of a compiler. The machine code that is generated is then executed either by a CPU or an interpreter. Based on whether the generated binary code is executed by a CPU or by an interpreter, there can be two types of programming languages. One is compiled language and two is interpreted language. Now to understand the difference between the two, let's refer to the next slide. Okay, so in case of compiled language, as you can see, we first compile our source code and the machine code generated thereby is stored in a physical location in your system. While we run our program, then what happens? That existing machine code that we already generated by compiling our source code, that gets executed by the CPU. So at runtime, only one step is happening, that is the pre-existing machine code is getting executed by the CPU, right? But in case of interpreted language, the scenario is a bit different. In Python, the compilation step does not happen separately. Instead, both the compilation and the interpretation steps happen simultaneously at the runtime. When you run the program, what happens? The source code is first compiled with a compiler like CPython to generate the bytecode. Here is the bytecode. So the source code is first getting compiled and generating bytecode. Okay. Now bytecode is also, you can say bytecode is also a type of binary code only. Then the bytecode is executed line by line by the Python interpreter, which is also called Python virtual machine or PVM at times. Okay. So here the bytecode that is getting generated is not getting executed by the CPU. By what it is getting executed? It is getting executed by an interpreter or a Python virtual machine. So that's why Python is called an interpreted language, because the compiled code or the byte code is getting executed by an interpreter and not directly by a CPU. So the basic difference between compiled and interpreted language is that in compiled language, this is the compiled language, here we get machine code which is platform dependent and is executed by the CPU. Now what I mean by platform dependent, suppose you have generated this machine code in Windows. Now you are trying, what you are trying to do, you are trying to take this machine code and put this in a Linux machine and trying to execute it by the CPU of that system. So in such cases, this machine code will not be able to be executed, because in case of compiled languages, generally what happens, as I have just mentioned, the machine code becomes platform dependent. Machine code that you are generating in a particular operating system may not work for another operating system. But in case of interpreted language, what happens is that you get a bytecode. By compiling the source code, you get a bytecode which is generally platform independent. So if you take this bytecode and place it in another machine, Suppose you take the bytecode generated in Windows and you try to place it in another machine, another operating system like Linux, and you have Python interpreter installed in that particular Linux machine, then your code will run smoothly. Okay, so it is, the bytecode is generally platform independent, and the basic difference between this compiled language and what interpreted language, what is the difference? In compiled language, the machine code is executed by the CPU, whereas in interpreted language, the bytecode is executed by an interpreter line by line. Again, there is another difference for scripting language like Python. Just as I have mentioned, the compilation step and the interpretation step both occur at the runtime. So when you are running the program, first your source code is getting compiled to bytecode, and then that is getting executed by an interpreter. But in case of compiled languages, the compilation step is separate. First you build your or compile your program to get the machine code, and at the runtime only one step is executed, that is execution of the machine code by the CPU. So I think you have understood the basic differences between compiled language and interpreted language. So let's move on to the next point, that is object-oriented programming. Python is an object-oriented programming language. So Python is an object-oriented programming language, and object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on the concepts of objects, which can contain data and code, data in the form of fields and code in the form of methods or functions. The main aim of OOP is to, that is object-oriented programming, is to bind together the data and the functions that operate on them, so that no other part of the code can access this data except those functions. The main four principles of OOP are encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So what a object-oriented programming actually is, in object-oriented programming, everything is treated as an object. Now what an object is nothing but an instance of class. Now what a class is a type defined by the user. It is a collection of some properties. Suppose car is a class. If car is a class, then the car that you own is an object of that class. If pen is a class, then the pen with which you write is an object of that pen class. So that's what object-oriented programming actually is. So these are the main four principles of object-oriented programming, that is encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. When we will discuss in detail about object-oriented programming, then all these concepts will be clear to you. Now, for the sake of ease, I am just skipping the explanation of this concept because it is not in the scope of this video. So when we will discuss in detail about object-oriented programming, we will discuss all these things, what object-oriented programming actually is, what a class actually is, what an object actually is, and what are the main four principles of OOP. We will discuss all these things in detail when we will discuss about object-oriented programming. So next point is, yes, and another most important thing is, although Python is called object-oriented programming, Python supports procedural programming as well. So you can code in Python without creating objects. Python has that flexibility and allows you to do so. So next point is high-level programming. So a high-level programming language is a programming language for writing computer instructions in a way that is easily understandable and close to human language. So high-level programming languages are generally English-like programming languages, which can be easily understood by a human being. So as we move from high-level languages towards low-level languages or machine-level languages, what happens is that the complication of the programming language increases, that the programming language becomes much more difficult to understand for normal human beings. For human beings, it becomes more and more difficult to understand, and for the CPU, it becomes more and more easy to understand. So machine level language is much easier for a CPU to understand than high level language. So that is the reason why a CPU cannot directly execute our source code which is written in high level language. We need the help of a compiler which converts a high level language to a machine level language, and when it is converted to machine level language, then the CPU can easily execute it. And so for the same reason, low level language or machine level language or assembly languages are much faster than high level language, just because of the reason that the CPU can understand them easily. Okay, so the fourth point is dynamic semantics. In other programming languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, etc., there is a strict declaration of the type of variables before assigning values to them. We have to declare whether the variable is integer or float or string or of any other type before assigning a value to it. It happens because it sets aside certain amount of memory space depending upon the type of the variable. So for example, in C, I am giving the example of C. In C programming language, an integer takes 4 bytes of memory space, a character takes 1 byte of memory space, and so on. So it happens like that. So depending on the type of the variable, certain amount of memory space is set aside. So if you are declaring a variable as a string and later trying to assign a floating point value to it, the compiler will not allow to do so in case of these programming languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, etc. On the other hand, Python does not require us to specify the type while declaring a variable. The Python interpreter is smart enough to implicitly determine the type of the variable at the runtime, and also, unlike other languages, the same variable can be assigned different types of values at runtime. You can assign different type of values to the same variable at different point of time. Means suppose you have first declared x equal to 2. Okay, now you can at a later point of time in the program you can assign a string to that variable and Python will raise no error. I am just giving you such an example. Okay, let me open, just a minute, let me open the Anaconda prompt and I'll show you what is happening. Let the console become interactive and I'll show you what happens in Python. Suppose I am declaring a variable. First of all, in Python, you don't need to specify the type of a variable while declaring it. So if you just do like x equal to 2, it will not give you any error. Okay, it is not giving you any error. Now at a later point of time, if you assign, now from the value assigned to x, you can easily understand that it is an integer, x is an integer. Now in the next line, if you try to assign a string to x, suppose we are trying to assign Python to x. Python is a string, we are trying to assign that to x. Should it give any error? In case of other programming languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, etc., yes, it should give an error. But in case of Python, will it raise an error? Let's see. No, it compiles fine, it runs fine, and it doesn't give you any error. So that's the beauty of Python. You can assign different type of data types, different type of values to the same variable at different point in the program. That's why Python is said to have a dynamic semantics. Okay, so let's again go back to the slide. That's why Python is said to have dynamic semantics, or Python is called dynamically typed. Okay, clear? So all the 4 points we have discussed, like the first point was Python is an interpreted language. Second is Python is an object oriented programming. Third, Python is a high level programming language. And just now we have discussed that Python has dynamic semantics, or Python is called dynamically typed, and we have understood why so. Okay, now there are some more useful info I would like to give you. This is the official website of Python, https www.python.org. So if you just navigate to this website, you can download the Python executable for the specific operating system you have, whether you have Linux, Windows, or Mac OS, or whatever. According to that, whether you have a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system, depending on that, you can download the Python executable accordingly. And also you can go through all the documentations related to Python. So just for once, I will navigate to this site and try to show you what are the things that you can get from this site. Just a minute, my machine is hanging a bit. sorry for that. Yeah, so this is the site https www.python.org. Okay, so from this site you can go to this links, applications course getting started. Getting started, you can, for the beginners, it is a very helpful link through which you can explore the different things. You can go to downloads and all releases. So this will list all the versions of Python that have been released so far. So the latest version of Python that has been released is Python 3.9.5. In the next video, we will see how we can download and install this latest version of Python. So that's it for this video, friends. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and please hit the bell icon so that you get notified when I'll upload more Python and data science related videos. And please don't forget to like and share my video so that it reaches a larger audience and they also get benefited from it. Thanks a lot for watching.